Super Bowl weekend, and we are not in Vegas. And if you were to ask me this question months ago, I'd be like, yes, second week, first week of February, we're going to be in Vegas. Dolphins are going to be in the Super Bowl, and here we are in the house watching it from home.
Yeah, another year. Obviously, is now we're approaching the 40-year mark since
my goodness.
Dolphins' last appearance in the Super Bowl. I know it so much that I know the exact dates. January 20th, 1985.
Yeah.
Palo Alto against the 49ers. A game they lost 38-16. So next year we'll make an even 40 years, but this is year 39 and no Dolphins in the Super Bowl. So
I know, but we really thought starting this year to the point where we were actually looking at hotels in Vegas.
Yes,
months ago. We were looking at airfare, and I know a lot of our friends and a lot of people who do what we do were, and just another year of could have been, should have been, would have been, and here we are. But anyways, guys, welcome to Bad Calls, Balls, and Brawls. It's your host 305 Sports Babe, co-host Miami Lou, and it's still Super Bowl weekend, and it's still exciting times. And we have the Kansas City Chiefs against the San Francisco 49ers in Vegas.
This is the Super Bowl was meant for this moment to be played in Las Vegas. A lot of people never thought this day would come, and this is really the sports betting capital of the world, right? Las Vegas, Nevada, and so this game is built to be hosted in this amazing city. And our guest, who we're going to have on here in a second, is going to tell you a lot about it. We're super excited to join him, for him to join us. The fact that again Las Vegas is hosting this game, and so many people are interested in. Not just the game itself, because that's important. People are excied for making a couple wagers here and there. Even the Swifties, I'm sure, are going to be getting involved. So, without further ado.
Well, before, we say Vegas, and I know it's exciting, but I still have a sour taste in my mouth of Vegas. Not that I've ever been to Vegas, we'll get into that. But the Knights beat our Panthers.
That's right.
I'm still stuck on, NHL that we went to obviously game 3 here.
Yep.
But the Knights were just such a better team, but still, so I'm still.
Well, the Panthers did get revenge in both meetings so far this season, but it doesn't mean anything, and it doesn't get us Stanley Cup. So
I know. So,
but yes, Vegas definitely has a little.
And they're getting a baseball team, so here and there. So, anyways, guys, without further ado, obviously we know Super Bowl itself is a beast, but within the last 15, 20 years, sports betting has. The popularity. I have the Hard Rock Bet app on my phone. I'm constantly betting on St. John's games and Heat games, betting with my heart and not my head half the time. I think I put a lot of money down on the St. John's UConn game last week. I'm like, we're gonna do this, and obviously that didn't turn out well, but I hope we do beat Marquette today. Anyways, our guest today lives in Vegas, so we are talking to somebody hands in the action today.
On the scene in Vegas.
I know. Todd Dewey, he is, we're going to share a story and everything. Originally from Boston, so, we like him and we hate him for that, right? And he is a sports betting columnist with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. So this is what he does, and he's passionate about it. So I couldn't think of a better person besides Mattress Mac. So without further ado, let's bring in Todd.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, good to see you. How you doing?
Doing great. Yeah, happy Super Bowl weekend. At home here in Vegas. I was in the epicenter of it all week, but
so tell us. So what we've gone to Super Bowls in the sense that I had an internship with the NFL when the dinosaurs were still around, and
I have not. I've just been locally when it's been hosted in Miami. I've just been around the scenes. I've not been to an actual Super Bowl, but I know what it's like, and I'm ssure that it being in Vegas is all that on steroids.
So what's the scene when you leave your house, when you go down to the strip? Is it still the Vegas size? Did the NFL take it over? Or do you see fans? Do you see regular people? What are you kind of seeing down there?
It's just a great buzz everywhere. They have all the signage, you just see the Super Bowl logos, and they have the sphere out here with all the teams on it. And, it's just Super Bowl signs and logos and stuff, playing things on the side of Caesars Hotel, with the big curtain coming down, and driving by the stadium with the logo. I got to go to the Super Bowl opening night on Monday. It was just kind of surreal having the Super Bowl, 10 minutes from your house here in Vegas finally, after the NFL was so anti-gambling all these years. And
psych.
and just being inside the stadium. And then Mandalay Bay is located across the highway from the stadium, and that's kind of the headquarters where they have the NFL Experience and Radio Row, where all the media shows are set up, and just, I was there the other day. It was just amazing. This is the first Super Bowl actually I've been to, during the week, and just being in the city. And, you look over there's Joe Montana doing an interview, Lawrence Taylor walking by, Josh Allen sitting down there, just all the legends all around. And, just Niners fans and Chiefs fans and all the gear everywhere. Yeah, it's just great. It's a lot of fun and a lot of energy and excitement, even more so than normally in Vegas.
Right. A lot of Miami fans here, big Miami following, obviously. Any Dan Marino sightings? We know he's been making the rounds out in Vegas.
He was. I missed him, but I went out to Radio Row on Thursday to do a couple of interviews, and I was told that Marino was there the day before. They have the Sirius XM all set up, all the every media outlet, and guess he was out there to do some interviews. I missed him, but I know, he used to have a restaurant out here at one point, and when it was the Hooters Hotel, right?
The Hooters Hotel, right? I think the signage is still, they couldn't remove it from the floor, so I still think there's a Dan Marino quote lying around the floor there somewhere in the old Hooters Hotel.
I would never step on that, just to let you know, out of reverence for him. Yes.
Oh, I appreciate that. No, he's a beloved figure, obviously, down here, and he's still, all these years, despite never winning a Super Bowl, he is synonymous because of the Joe Montana and Marino meeting and the Pepsi commercial. I heard that he's doing a commercial with Messi in this year's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how Dan Marino still gets a lot of love and acknowledgement from everybody, from all the great things he did.
Yeah, all-time great, legend for sure. When I was growing up, Elway, Montana, and Marino, those were the guys. And then Brady and Manning and, now Mahomes.
Yeah.
So growing up for me was more Tom Brady, and I know that you might like him more than I might like him. So tell us, where you're from, kind of where you start. Give us the background. Are you New England? Are you more Boston College, Boston University, Rutgers? Give us an overview. What do you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, my parents are from Boston. I was born in Cambridge, Mass. That's as close as I got to Harvard. But and then lived down there, and then moved up to Manchester, New Hampshire, is where I grew up, about an hour from Boston. Yeah, I grew up just a diehard Boston sports fan. But I couldn't stand those winters in New England. I still can't. So I followed the sun down to the Sunshine State with you guys. And my brother went to Embry-Riddle and Daytona Beach. I went to UCF. Back in the day, they were 1AA actually, just before they went to Division I. And I remember it was all Florida State and Miami with a big Power 3. And I can't believe that they're up there with them now. But always just a diehard Boston sports fan. And after college, went home for a few years and then moved out west to get a job out here in Vegas. I've been here since '96 actually, and I covered just about everything for the newspaper out here. And for the last 7 years, I've been the sports betting columnist. So, back in high school, my buddy's dad was a bookie. And so I've been betting for a long time, kind of a bit of a campus bookie at UCF, a small scale, a few people,
Oh, my goodness.
And so now, I feel like now I'm finally getting a little rebate for being a degenerate bettor all these years.
Hey, right. You could be a proud degenerate these days. Look, I saw most of the things that you've been tweeting out, and you mentioned that an estimated 67 million Americans are, scheduled to put some kind of action on this Sunday's game. So it seems like everybody's doing it, there's no shame or stigma to it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So in 2018, the Supreme Court struck down the federal ban on sports betting. And as you know, now it's just all over the place. You see the ads all the time. And in 38 states now, legal betting. And it still hasn't hurt Vegas. Their numbers keep rising as well. But betting all over the place. And almost a quarter of the country supposed to be making a bet this weekend on the Super Bowl. And the NFL has partnered with DraftKings, Caesar Sportsbook, FanDuel, official partners, and they're getting the cut of the action now too. So everybody's all in. Yeah, it makes it fun if you could keep it under control. It's fun to have a little action on the game.
Absolutely. And you mentioned how the Strip is, and you're talking about the Bellagio fountains having the Super Bowl logo. The best one that I saw was the Super Bowl rings being put on the spear. That was cool. They're rotating on the spear. That was amazing to see. you talk about Vegas and doing this the last 7 years. Ashley hasn't been, she mentioned, but I've been several times, specifically during March Madness. And March Madness was always like the biggest, event in Vegas, sports betting wise. But has this completely blown that out of the water, or do you still think March Madness is going to hold its special place during that time?
Well, the Super Bowl is the single biggest bet game because it's just one game. But March Madness has it beat as far as overall, like the first 4 days of March Madness with so many games. I mean, what is it, 32 and then 60, like 48 games that first 4 days. With just so many games, like the amount of money wagered on March Madness beats the Super Bowl. But just for one game, the Super Bowl is the single biggest bet event. But yeah, you're right, though. It's basically like on the sports betting calendar, NFL and the Super Bowl are the top part of the year, and then it takes a little break, and then March Madness is the next biggest event. Those are the two biggest events by far when it comes to sports betting and how much people bet on it and come to Vegas for it.
And how about the World Cup? Obviously, that's regarded as the biggest game in the world. Did that get good action in previous ones? And we got the next one coming up in 2026, which Miami will actually be hosting. How does the World Cup do out there betting-wise?
Yeah, people definitely bet on the World Cup. I mean, you can bet on anything. They have, you get up early for the Premier League out here, and they get lines on everything you want to bet on. The World Cup did well, and that was why that's what was in my mind when I was talking about the Super Bowl being the single biggest bet game. Maybe worldwide, in the U.S., maybe worldwide, the World Cup will take that down. But yeah, there was plenty of action on the World Cup and a lot of excitement for that out here too. I was at one of the sports books to watch the USA game, and yeah, people were chanting USA and waving flags, and it was a great atmosphere and energy for that too.
Very cool. Our buddy Russ chiming in that he loves March Madness. Yeah, there's something like that Thursday and Friday. How many people call out sick from work?
You're just speaking of yourself, Logan.
Well,
I don't think you've ever worked that weekend.
I think Thursday and Friday are two of the best sports viewing days of the calendar year. I mean, it's just amazing. Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, every year I go hunker down at one of the sports books out here with my computer and, just take in the whole scene day to night. I have to do it as my job. Tell my wife I have to go watch the games all day and night and pay attention to all the betting. It's kind of a dream come true for me, really. Sometimes.
So are you still UCF? Are you still cheering for the Knights? Are you kind of swayed, maybe, or are you still?
Oh yeah, definitely for college. Yeah, I didn't get to you with college here. Kind of growing up in New England, like I was all the pro teams, a diehard Boston sports fan, and definitely going to UCF. Yeah, that's my college team for sure. Also, I grew up as an Irish Catholic near Boston and just, kind of fell in love with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish logo as a kid. Yeah. Sorry, Canes fans.
No,
when I was at UCF, that was the heyday of the, Lou Holtz, Jimmy Johnson, the Catholics versus the convicts. They called it. I mean,
right.
No offense. That was just how they said it, right? And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, my favorite, I became a Dolphins fan in 2007, 2008, and my favorite Dolphin of all time is actually Anthony Fasano, Italian guy from Jersey who went to Notre Dame. So I know no one will ever tell you their favorite player is Anthony Fasano but me. So I'm about Notre Dame as well. So
it's kind of ironic, like, because the Vegas Golden Knights out here that everybody loves and UCF Golden Knights.
Yeah. So it's a match made in heaven.
There you go. So before we get into Super Bowl itself, speaking of, you mentioned the Vegas Knights and, the Vegas Raiders, just the professional sports scene out there has exploded for a while. I know you mentioned you cover some minor league baseball, the 51s, is it? Or the
AAA baseball team out here. It was the Las Vegas 51s, and they built a new Las Vegas ballpark, beautiful AAA ballpark, probably the best one in AAA.
Wow.
They renamed them the Aviators, the Las Vegas Aviators.
Oh, cool.
It's still owned by the Howard Hughes Corporation from way back, and Howard Hughes, the Aviator. That's how they came up with the name.
There you go. Yeah. And so, how do you think about the A's making a transition over there? Are they going to keep that? What are you hearing? Are they going to keep the name? Is it still going to be built on site of the Tropicana Hotel? I know that's now set for demolition in April, I believe.
Yeah, that's what the game plan is for the A's to come here and for them to implode the Tropicana and build the stadium right there on the Strip. Supposed to be one of the smallest capacity stadiums. And, we're hoping that, obviously right now the A's are the worst team in baseball and the owner hasn't spent any money. Hopefully he'll invest in the team and get some good players when they come to Vegas. But yeah, then our mayor seemed to have a misspoke the other day.
I saw that.
And said they should try to work it out and stay in the Bay Area. I'm like, what is she saying? I think then she kind of said, no, I want them to come here. And I don't know what happened with that, but no, the A's are scheduled to come here and everybody's excited, and pretty amazing that now we're almost, the Knights won the Stanley Cup already. The Las Vegas Aces out here, 2-time WNBA champs, the Raiders and NFL Super Bowl. They had the March NCAA tournament was here, the F Formula One. And so, and all we'll need if the A's come as scheduled will be an NBA team, and sure that will be next.
And we talk baseball, and I'm sure you heard Netflix series. They're going to cover our Red Sox, so that's going to be fun. Little Hard Knocks of baseball coming up. That'll be. I don't know if it's the best season to do. I'm a little,
How'd you become the Red Sox fan then? After you never mentioned how.
Oh, so, my story is very unique. Growing up, I was a Yankee fan. We grew up maybe 20, 25 minutes outside of New York City. My dad would take us to the games all the time. He was a cop, so he got the tickets. People would give him. So I was a huge Chuck Knobloch fan. 6, 7, 8 years old. Chuck Knobloch was like the Britney Spears of guys. I loved Chuck Knobloch. Everything about Chuck Knobloch I loved. I'm like, this is my guy. Derek Jeter was cool, but Chuck Knobloch. So
did he throw you the ball in the stands when
he was having? So when I was 8 years old, we would always get there early and go to batting practice. So I had a big sign that said, "I love you, Chuck Knobloch." Had his jersey and everything. So I think it was Raul Mondesi who brought him over to me, and I met him, and he was the meanest person to me. He signed my ball, didn't even wait to take a picture, didn't say 2 words to me, and walked away. Broke my heart when I was 8 years old. From that moment on, I became a Red Sox fan.
See, Red Sox guys would never do that to you.
So, but guess who
you
follows
made the right choice.
He follows me on Twitter now. So whatever, Chuck,
Chuck Knobloch does? He tried to make up with you?
So but no, I've loved,
That was probably what was going through his mind when he kept throwing the ball away from second base a million times.
He's like, this 8-year-old, But no, I've been I love the.
No, remember when he had that? He really struggled throwing the ball to first.
Yeah, he knocked out the announcer's wife that one game. So that was my first love.
That's a great story. Well, I'm sorry that you're heartbroken as a child.
It is okay. Came out winning, but we are diehard Marlins fans as well. We went to the playoff. We had a little playoff run, but no, it's been great. So let's talk Super Bowl, right?
Well, I did want to ask you one more thing. So I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the first professional team in Las Vegas, which I know they weren't really professional, but the UNLV Running Rebels.
Oh yeah.
Team of the early '90s that won a championship and went to another one and fell, short. But how was that all you've heard? I know you covered the Rebels for a while there as well, not in their heyday, but what have you heard from that era and the Coach Tark running that team? Give us some stories of you.
Yeah, I was still at UCF actually when the Running Rebels won the national title in 1990, and they were just it seemed like a professional team when they had Larry Johnson and Stacey Augmon and those guys. That was one of the greatest teams in NCAA history. And yeah, Tark the Shark ruled out here. And they came, they called it Gucci Row, and Steve Wynn and all the high rollers would sit at courtside. And they had basically before the Bulls came up with their big pregame lights and laser show, they had it out here for the UNLV Running Rebels that a big shark would be going around the arena. Yeah, you just heard that was just everyone loved the Rebels out here. That was pretty much the only game in town back then. I got here after that, a few years after, but people have still just been trying to replicate that ever since. They got to the Sweet 16, I believe, under Lon Kruger, but they've still struggled to kind of recreate that. But, it used to be the biggest game in town, and everybody still loves the Running Rebels. They just, I don't know if they'll be able to replicate that success from the Tark era.
Agreed.
That's awesome. So Super Bowl Sunday coming up tomorrow. We have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers.
It's a rematch of Super Bowl 54. Down here in Miami. So
you have Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, I love the kid. I'm sure he wears 13 because of Tom. Oh my God, I'm stuck Tom Brady. I'm talking New England. I think it's Tom Brady looking at you. Dan Marino. So I can tell you, my grandmother, who's a viewer of the show, she's 81 years old, Italian woman. And if you ask her, who do you want to win the game? She will say 49ers. And not because she's a 49ers fan. She's a big Dolphins fan. But she cannot stand Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. She's very vocal about it. But the Chiefs are favorites to win this game.
No, the 49ers are favorite.
I thought
49ers. 49ers are favorite. Yeah. 49ers are favorite.
49ers are favorite. Okay. So
it's a close one. Niners by 2, favored by 2 right now across the board. So it's pretty tight.
It opened up at 2.5, and it's now I saw 1.5. You're saying 2, but do you think it'll where do you think the line will move as we get closer to kickoff?
Yeah, it's been at 2.5. It's been at 1.5. It's kind of consensus line is 2. All the bookmakers say, unless there's some major $1 million, like a multi, $10 million bets or something, unless there's some crazy major bets, it's not going to go to 3. So it's probably just going to stick right around 2. Okay. And cool. It's kind of just been staying steady at 2. There's been like 14 6-figure or higher bets that I've been able to confirm, including $1 million bet on the 49ers on the money line. And 13 out of the 14 have been on the 49ers. All the big money is on the big bets are on the 49ers, but the masses, the general public are all over the Chiefs. And so the sports books still are rooting for the Chiefs, even though they're still rooting for the 49ers, even though all the big bets are on the 49ers, because, most of the public is on the Chiefs.
Right. Now, the proximity to being so close to California, money obviously is going to be based on what a person thinks. But the fact that it's so close to Cali, have you seen a big influx of people from the Midwest and Kansas City, or is it mostly people from California and Arizona that are maybe 49er fans making these bets?
Yeah, both sides for sure in town, but all the bookmakers I talk to out here in Las Vegas say whenever a team from the Bay Area in California does well, they always are inundated with bets on 49ers and other teams up in northern Nevada, across the border from Northern California, like up in Reno. All the Niners fans will cross over there to bet on the Niners. And yeah, definitely a ton of money on the 49ers. Are always well supported in Vegas since there's no legal gambling in California.
All right, so let's get into some prop bets. I know you had some listed.
But before you say that, you say California. Did you guys know that whoever wins the Super Bowl will be going to Disneyland this year and not Disney World? Did you hear about that?
I did not hear about that.
Yes. We're big Disney people. And, you.
Thank you for that tip, actually, because we're doing a prediction poll in the paper, and one of the sportsbook directors wrote, like enjoy Disneyland, Mr. Mahomes. And I said, oh, wait, they always go to Disney World. They need to change that to Disney World.
Yeah, it's Disneyland this year. So very interesting. All right, so let's get into the bets. I'll talk Disney all day.
So what do you got, Todd, in terms of what are your best prop bets that you've seen out there? And, were most of the people that you've seen, I know you have your sources that, some of these prop bets that people are most interested in.
The prop bets people are most interested in are anything on Travis Kelce. The sportsbook said, if Travis Kelce has a monster game, they're going to lose big. Everyone's jumping on Travis Kelce to score a touchdown, to be the player to score the first touchdown, which is like 7-1 odds, to win the MVP. He's leading in tickets and money out here. Just to score an anytime touchdown at any time, I believe that's like minus 105. You have to put up for that. Over his 6.5 catches, like 74.5 yards, 78.5 yards receiving. They're all over Travis Kelce to just do everything, catch a touchdown. Every prop is on Travis Kelce. And, popular ones too, heads and tails. Some guy bet 100,000 on tails.
That's what I was going to ask you. So is that still like one of the most popular ones that you're seeing, just a standard 50-50 heads and tails? Is that still?
That's what the sportsbooks say. They always have a ton of action on that. I guess people, it's just simple and it's going to happen right away and people have action. But pretty much you can bet on every play. There's going to be some kind of money changing hands. And basically talking to the sportsbook guys out here, the general public, they want to bet a little to win a lot. Who doesn't? And so they like to bet on there's going to be a safety, which is like 7 or 8 to 1 odds. There's going to be overtime. It's going to be a defensive touchdown. There'll be a 2-point conversion. There'll be a missed extra point off and upright. Those are all the things they like to bet on. They're betting also on Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy to score touchdowns.
Yeah,
because those are kind of long odds. Actually, Mahomes did score the first touchdown in the first Niners-Chiefs meeting in the 2020 Super Bowl, and he is at like 18-1 to do that. So those are some of the popular ones, and there's some crazy ones too. Like you could bet on an octopus, they call it, where a player scores the touchdown and the 2-point conversion for 8 points on one drive. So the octopus, or scoregami, like to bet on a score that's never happened before.
Wow.
There's a bet. The single biggest liability at Caesars, a better bet $100 to win $1 million that the Chiefs will score exactly 2 points. So.
And that's it.
Yeah, you could just bet on the exact amount of points scored by each team. You could bet on the exact score. There's thousands of ways to bet. It's just hard to narrow them all down.
Now, Todd, that one about them scoring exactly 2 points, I think it's beyond crazy. But is that something that is customly made, or is that something that the book puts out? The sports book actually puts that.
Yeah, the sports books put that out for the Super Bowl. That's not every week, but they put that out for the Super Bowl.
No, right. But I'm saying, is that bet that they came up with that number? I mean, it seems like a crazy number, but they're the ones that the sports book actually put that on the board.
Yeah, like it was already out there, and you could actually you can actually request bets. Like the other day, the guys at Caesars, like someone wanted a bet on an exact score of 13-8. So we put that up on the board.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Also, like no touchdown scored is 300-1, and that's a popular one. There's been no Super Bowl has not had a touchdown, but the Rams Patriots one a couple years ago, 13-3.
Yeah, it was close.
They had to sweat that out because Patriots didn't score to like 7 minutes left in the game. Touchdown,
it was 6-3 for a long time there, and it looked like it was going to end 6 or 9-3. So it could have happened.
There's also a prop up there. Will a quarterback complete a pass to himself like Lamar Jackson just did? 75-1, and they're hoping that doesn't happen because people at those long odds, just accumulation of small bets adds up pretty quickly.
Is the national anthem one still hot? I know that it looks like it's 90.5 seconds over under on that one. Are people still on that train, or that's kind of like one that's kind of dying out? What do you see with the national anthem?
Well, actually, they don't do those type of props in Las Vegas. You have to bet those like offshore.
Gotcha.
Here in Las Vegas, they just bet on things that are on the box score, like an official result. So you can't actually bet on how many times are they going to show Taylor Swift on the TV broadcast.
I'm sorry, Taylor who? I've never heard of that person. Taylor
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They've come up with just different things. Like they tried to get creative, like will Travis Kelce have more catches than her number of platinum albums, which I guess was 10. I didn't know, but I looked at the prop. And he did have 11 catches in the last game in the AFC Championship game. So you never know.
So what about like the Gatorade color that will be splashed on the winning coach's head? Yeah. Is that something to be put on the board? Or
so.
Yeah, you can't do that one in Vegas either, but they do have it at offshore books.
And same with the Usher thing. Which song is he going to come out to?
Yeah, they call them novelty props. Like, all those ones because they just out here, they just figure someone knows that information in advance. So they don't want to put something out there that, producer, Usher's manager or something could just tell his family and friends, hey, this is what's going to happen.
Maybe
so they know for sure. Like, I guess back when Tom Brady, before he went to Tampa Bay, they did have odds on what team he was going to sign with. And all of a sudden, they started getting all these big bets, and it didn't matter what odds on him to go to Tampa Bay. And so the books are like, obviously someone knew for sure he was going there. And, so they don't want to get beat on stuff where the information's already out.
Even going back to the national anthem, it could be pre-recorded and the exact time. So that wouldn't work out.
I think that's what happened a year or two ago, where someone even went on Twitter and was outside the stadium, literally listening.
I saw that,
and taping the time and put it out there. And so then they took that off the board because everybody knew.
I did see you mention, going back to the prop bets, that the two biggest Super Bowl prop bet losses for the books. You mentioned it was a safety to start the game when Manning got sacked by the Seahawks. And the second one was Devin Hester, his kickoff return to open the game. Those are the two biggest single losses for the books ever.
Yeah, that's correct. The first big prop was a refrigerator. Remember the fridge? Bears defensive lineman, big guy, William the Refrigerator Perry, back in the 1986 Super Bowl where they crushed the Patriots. But at Caesar's Palace, they put up odds. Willie scored a touchdown, and that one went crazy, and they lost a couple $100,000 on that. But that's kind of what started the prop bet craze, and just more and more over the years. When there were a bunch of blowouts in the Super Bowl, they started putting all the props up to keep people interested and give them a reason to keep watching and betting. And but yeah, those are the two. Like people always bet on a safety, and then like for a safety to be the first score of the game is like 50 or 60 to 1. And so defensive or special teams touchdowns like 3 to 1, and all these long shots all came in on the first play of the game when they hiked the ball over Peyton Manning's head when the highest scoring Broncos lost to the Seahawks. That was a big one, like over $1 million industry-wide in Vegas. Yeah, and then when the Colts and Bears played, Devin Hester ran the opening kickoff back. Same thing. They had will the first touchdown be, a kickoff return for a touchdown. It was big long odds, and will Hester score, stuff like that. That was over $1 million as well. So, yeah, those are two of the big ones.
Yeah, it's crazy, the numbers on the game. I mean, the game itself, unfortunately, has not always been competitive, right? I mean, 57 Super Bowls in, and unfortunately, there's been a lot of blowouts. The NFC had that dominant run in the 80s into the 90s. And as a matter of fact, the two biggest lines in the Super Bowl I saw you mention as well were obviously the Jets and the Colts at 17.5 point spread. And then your Patriots against the Giants was 14 as well. 14-point spread, and those were two outright wins by the Dogs. So
those are two of the biggest upsets for sure. And then of course the Niners over the Chargers. Remember Steve Young and that team? They were favored by 18.5 over the Chargers.
Yeah.
Two of the biggest lines and two of the biggest upsets. Crazy outright.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So I guess I want to ask you, with this matchup, first of all, if I was to ask you this question 6 months ago, 7 months ago, who did you see in the Super Bowl? What? Because I can tell you right now, I put a crazy, not a bet, but with my boss, I said maybe the Giants or the Cowboys might have a nice run, and of course with my heart with the Dolphins. So my prediction was like Ace Ventura, Dolphins, Eagles, maybe a Giants. Who did you see starting the season, and why?
I kind of thought the Eagles were going to get back there. It seemed like they had everybody back and they were loaded. And, I thought the Eagles were going to make a run, and they started off, 10-1, and then they just melted down at the end. But, early on, it looked like the Niners were the best team for sure.
Yeah.
They were going to get there. But then on the AFC was kind of wide open, and it looked like the Ravens. And the Chiefs actually took the Ravens and then regretted going against Patrick Mahomes. And that's what everybody's been saying. I mean, you can never count the Chiefs out, of course. It's kind of like when the Patriots, I see Mahomes is kind of like the new Brady, and the Chiefs are the new Patriots. Like even when they don't have their best team, they didn't look good all year, especially on offense. But they have their best defense. And, I didn't think they were going to get here. But Mahomes has stepped up in the defense in the playoffs.
Yeah, we actually had the game against the Chiefs in Germany. We did not go to that, but we went to Arrowhead a few weeks ago for the Dolphins-Chiefs wildcard game. And, I mean, they're a great team, but they didn't really, look Super Bowl great, all right? I mean, I know we went to that game very banged up, especially on our defense, but I didn't foresee them necessarily Super Bowl bound. So that was surprising.
Well, at the beginning of the year, I think they were. Obviously, there's regular season, the finishing as a third seed. A lot of people counted them out, but you got to coming on strong here down the end. I mean, they really winning road games back-to-back weeks in Baltimore and Buffalo and Baltimore really says everything you need to know about them. So,
yeah, their offense has always been so high-powered in the past, and they definitely have struggled on offense all year. But their defense has probably been the best they've had with Patrick Mahomes. And with Andy Reid and Mahomes and then the moxie, they just got it done in the playoffs. First time he's had to go on the road in the playoffs, but he's shown that he's the best quarterback and can never count them out even when they don't have their best team.
So with that, are you leaning more towards Chiefs Kingdom, or are you kind of on the 49ers ride there? Who would you say?
I think I'm leaning to the Chiefs. I wouldn't be surprised if either team wins. I really think the 49ers have more talent and are the better team on paper, but they've just looked vulnerable. They could have lost both those home games. To the Packers and Lions, had a rally in both of those, and the Chiefs just, it comes out Mahomes versus Purdy. Who are you going to take there? That's an easy question. You got to go with Mahomes. And kickers in the Super Bowl too. Harrison Butker is one of the best, and Moody is a shaky rookie kicker for the Niners. And then the defense, I think the Chiefs' defense is better than the Niners. The Niners are capable, but they just haven't brought it all year. And I just don't think you could go. Everybody's been saying all week can't bet against Patrick Mahomes, and I have to agree with that. So you just can't bet against Isaiah Pacheco. That's it.
Yeah.
Listen, I'd agree. How do you bet against Mahomes, right? He keeps on winning.
Yeah.
The only time he's lost in a playoff game really is to Tom Brady. And how could you knock him for that? Tom Brady, as much as it hurts me to say, is the GOAT. I mean, I don't see anybody catching him.
It pains you to say that.
I do say
it. It
doesn't. It's the truth, though.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but there's no denying 7 Super Bowl rings. And I don't, even if Mahomes wins tomorrow, I don't think
he's still not a Brady.
He's not. It's not just that he's not a Brady, but I don't see him getting 4 more to match him. So it's going to be very tough. And I agree, it's hard to beat to bet against Mahomes. Now, from the other quarterback perspective, Brock Purdy, what do you think he has to do in order to hang in the game here? Is he going to have, with all the talent that he has on the receiver end with Debo and Ayuk and Kittle? Do you think Purdy's going to have to win this game with his legs? What are some prop bets in terms of what are they expecting Brock Purdy to get on the ground?
I believe it's around 12.5 yards, Purdy. I can look real quick on the app, but I think, they're going to try to use their running game and try to not force Purdy to pass the ball. So what it comes down to, I believe his passing is around 260 something and like 12, 15 yards rushing. And, I think if they force the Niners to throw the ball, that the Niners would be in trouble and that they're going to rely on their running game where the Chiefs' run defense is vulnerable. And obviously the Niners have Christian McCaffrey. Might just try to give him the ball, which the Ravens didn't do. Didn't they have like 6 carries or something and barely handed the ball to their running backs in the game?
So, and both, obviously McCaffrey is at another tier, but Pacheco has been very admirable, did a great job this season, and he's capable of going off as well. But if the running game gets involved on both teams, that obviously affects the total, which is currently 47.5. How do you see that working out? Do you think it's going to be a low-scoring game? You think it's going to be a shootout? Where do you lie on that?
Sorry, I was just trying to get you guys the up-to-date numbers here. I'm looking at the app. Passing yards by Brock Purdy is 247.5. That's gone down.
Okay.
His rushing yards is 13.5 rushing yards, so you can bet over under that. And they get a million other ones. But as far as the total goes, it's the sharp money they call it. The professional money is on the under in this game. The odds makers think the Chiefs have played tough D all year and that they're looking at an under game. But the betting public, like most people, will always bet on mostly the betting public will bet on the favorites and the overs, and the sharp or professional bettors will bet on the underdogs and the unders.
Yeah.
And the props too. The pros will bet on no for every question. Will someone have a touchdown? They'll bet no, because the betting public, they want to see some action and stuff. You want to root for things to happen, not to not happen, right? But
right.
The pros always think there's an edge with the numbers being inflated by the public.
So I got one more question for him. Obviously we cover heavy with the Dolphins, Miami Sports Network here, covering everything Miami sports. But Bill Belichick, is he done? Is he going to go? I mean, what's the story with him? Is he really going to try to break Shula's record, or is he going to retire down here? What do you foresee with Bill?
Well, I think he definitely wants to continue to coach. He just, I was surprised really that there wasn't any offers for him. Like the Falcons went with Dan Quinn over Belichick. Wasn't Dan Quinn 28-3 lead where he blew that? But maybe it's Belichick's demeanor and always being surly, and maybe it's his personal skills. He's a great coach, and a lot of people say that they don't want to give him all the power in the football operation because he struggled with drafting players and for personnel. So maybe that's coming into it. I don't know. I think he wants to keep going. I would have to think there's going to be an opportunity for him next year. Like maybe if the Cowboys struggle early in the season, I thought he was going to go to the Cowboys, really. And
it would be a good fit.
Yeah. I mean, but I think he definitely wants – he's a football lifer, and he wants to continue to coach. That's clear. And he wants to break Shula's record. But it's just a matter of someone's going to give him an opportunity. I was really surprised that he didn't get a chance.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, we hope that he doesn't break Shula's record down here.
Yeah, we hope he's going to have a nice retirement home down here in West Palm Beach and do whatever he needs to. Hopefully he's done, but that's just us being greedy because we know he's an amazing coach and we know he still has gas left in the tank.
Yep.
Got one more?
Todd, going back to the game really quick here. As far as the X factors that, don't really determine the outcome, but you saw the 49ers were upset with their practice facility. You're on the scene there. Where exactly were they practicing? And in terms of where the Chiefs were, was it really that big of a disadvantage as to where they were at?
Well, the Niners are over at UNLV, and UNLV, they just built a new facility a couple of years ago, the football team, which is, really nice, state of the art. But the field, I guess they just didn't think the field was firm enough for them. The Chiefs are out at the Raiders facility. So I'm sure, both facilities are nice, but the Chiefs, the Raiders one's a little nicer. It was just something to do with the field where they just thought it wasn't as firm as it should have been. And then the NFL came out and put sod down, but haven't heard much about that after on Monday night. Shanahan said, it's not as big a deal as we're making it out to be, and we'll be fine. So
yeah, and obviously that was determined because the Chiefs are designated the home team for the Super Bowl, so they get to use the Raiders facility and also pick their uniforms. What about the familiarity with the Chiefs playing at Vegas once a year and being at that stadium often? Any advantage there, them knowing the surroundings, or anything being said about that at all?
Yeah, well, I know Mahomes and the Chiefs, played here 4 times and 3-1 against the spread and put up a lot of points too, 3-1 over in games at the Raiders. And it can't hurt being more familiar with the stadium and the surroundings. The Niners also played out here as well, though, and had a win last season, not this season, but last season. So both teams a little familiar, but the Chiefs have more familiarity. I guess it couldn't hurt.
And what about fan-wise? Going to be a lot more, 49er fans there just because it's so close, or what have you seen?
Chiefs Kingdom travels well.
Yeah, they definitely travel well, but it definitely seems like it's going to be a pro-Niners crowd. If the Monday opening night was any indication, the Niners fans dominated that event. They were chanting for every player and team. They were definitely a lot louder, and the Chiefs got roundly booed when they came out. Yeah, so the Niners fans being in a close proximity and maybe just the way they try. Yeah, I'm not sure. Don't want to put down the Chiefs fans, but it was clear the Niners fans were a lot louder, and there were more of them.
Makes sense.
All right, last thing I promise. We are diehard Miami Heat fans, like huge. And we obviously know you bleed green. We know you love your Celtics. I can tell you that, I've been a sports fan since I was 6. I've never cried at a sporting event until Game 6, Eastern Conference Finals, home game here, where you guys took that game from us and forced the Game 7. That was the only time where I've ever cried in my life.
But we did win Game 7.
We won.
And I was crying in Game 7.
There you go.
So
you had tears of joy there.
I just, we have season tickets for the Heat, and I could not get off the seat. And I just, for the first time, it was just the worst thing. So Heat Celtics today.
Tomorrow. Little appetizer before the Super Bowl.
Yes. So what do we think? I mean, we just
I have a couple of prop bets I found for that one. They put up. They have, let's see, who will have more, Jimmy Butler points or the Niners and the Chiefs first half points total? The Niners and Chiefs are -1.5 favorite. So first half points in the Super Bowl, Jimmy Butler's points you could bet on.
So
they also have Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. No.
Well, Jimmy hasn't been scoring, at the clip that he did last year, but against the Celtics, he's, been known to put up some big scores. So it's one of those where it could go either way.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting one that I'd love to take action on.
And then they have Tyler Hero minus 3-pointers by Hero against field goals made in the Super Bowl.
Wow. That's another good one. Yeah. So
Hero's a minus half favorite. So if he just gets one more 3-pointer than the total field goals made. Then they have Jaylen Brown points against the Chiefs points.
Okay. Oh, there's some really good.
And then they got Jason Tatum points versus the Niners points.
Cool. No,
yeah, the first cross sport prop, I guess, was in the 1990 Super Bowl. The Niners Broncos won, and they came up with, hey, we'll have Michael Jordan points the night before against the Nets versus how many points the Niners will get. And Jordan got 39, but that was the Super Bowl. The Niners got 55, and they scored 55-10. They beat the Broncos, so they won. But that was the first one, yeah. So.
Oh, well, we got
the cross sports
going. Tonight, obviously, my Johnny's playing number 9 Marquette. I'm feeling good about that one. I hope we sure do, make March Madness a little. You said we were on the cusp of that.
Right now they're projected as being the first 4 out, but that could change. Still a lot of time until Selection Sunday, and I gotta introduce her to that scene out there in Vegas during that time. It's just amazing.
Only if we make it. I mean, I don't want to. So yeah, we have that, and obviously we have Heat Celtics tomorrow, and we have the Super Bowl. So a lot of fun weekend, despite the Dolphins not being in it. So
indeed. Well, Todd, again, thank you for joining us. Can you tell the listeners out there where they could find you and how they could follow everything everything great that you post on social media?
Oh, thanks. No, thanks for having me, guys. Great talking to you. It was fun. Yeah, I'm at TDewey33 on Twitter, X. 33 for Larry Legend, of course. But the reviewjournal.com, LVIII.com is newspaper, Las Vegas Review Journal. And yeah, thanks a lot for having me. Appreciate it.
We appreciate it. Now go have some fun in Vegas. Hopefully, we'll see you maybe in March if we get up there or something, but go have fun. And
look me up.
Definitely. Well, thanks so much, and we appreciate it. So take care.
All right. Have a happy Super Sunday.
Yes, you too. Enjoy. Hopefully, we could have you back on maybe for Selection Sunday.
Oh, that
when
would
the tournament's on to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, sure.
Anytime. All right. Have fun. Take care.
All right. See you guys.
Okay, so I'm eager now. So I learned a lot of things. I did not realize that Vegas does not consider those type of bets full function.
No, but it makes sense because a lot of those bets are they could be pre-recorded.
I could see that too.
If you're talking about a national anthem,
or like Usher. Usher's one of the things where what song is he going to start with? Is it going to be or My Boo?
Again,
but it's true. I could see that point.
Whenever you go to a concert, there's already a set list in play, so what you're going to sing. The band's got to be ready. The DJ, whatever it is. So a lot of those bets, going back to the Gatorade, what color is going to be spilled on them? Well, whoever's making that Gatorade is going to have inside information. So anything that happens within the game is up in the air. You don't really control that. But when you have these kind of props that involve things that can be predetermined, it takes the element out of it. So
and I'll tell you, we rarely ever have somebody originally from New England on our show. It wasn't half bad. He's a nice guy, we're very,
He was awesome.
Yeah.
Great insight. He's been on the scene all week. I've followed his journeys on Radio Row. He's been to the numerous hotels, and I know you've never been. And hopefully, guys in the chat, and I know we haven't really been paying attention to the chat because we've been trying to focus on the interview. But you can, if you want to see what people are saying. And we also want to get your predictions out there. What you think the score of the Super Bowl is going to be? But definitely getting his insight on how everything's there has been out there. From Radio Row to the hotels to the interviews that he did, and also all the stat nuggets that he listed as far as how many bets have come in that are six figures. I wanted to him about the parlay, but we didn't get a chance to do that. But it was great to have him on.
Yeah, I was under the assumption that the Chiefs were favored to win. We met so many great Chiefs fans during our trip, and I follow so many of them now on social media that the way they're posting, you would have thought that they were favored to win. So I was like, all right, cool. I guess, but no, the Niners are favored to win, but it's going to be, I foresee it being a close game. I just do. I mean, you take quarterback versus quarterback, right? Brock Purdy versus Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, Patrick is the better quarterback, but then even with it, you still have a 49ers favorite to win. So it is an interesting way the cookie will crumble.
Yeah, when you compare both quarterbacks, there really is no comparison.
Yeah.
And Mahomes is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time AFC champion,
even coaches,
MVP. So, obviously, there's a big difference there. But I will say this, the 49ers, as Todd alluded to, are the better team roster-wise. They have more talent. Even on offense, they got way more talent, talented players. But look, Brock Purdy has been a game manager. He's been winning more games than he's lost since he's been under center. And so, for that, you can't disregard him, and you got to give him a shot. I think for them to win, he's going to have to, scramble a little bit. So he mentioned it was 13.5 over under his rush yards. Yeah. I'm going over. I think regardless, I think he's going to get his yards on the ground because he's going to need to.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a tight game as well. I think it'll be high scoring. He did mention under. I think it's going to go over. I'm not going to say it's going to be a shootout, but I think it's going to be in the 20s on both teams. And I think, I think it's going to be a close.
Sandy's on the 49ers gang. That's more 49ers. Her West Coast vibe. Comparing running backs. That is a very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, CMC, look, he's
I know this viewer here is a huge CMC fan, so it's a little biased.
He's a multi-talented guy. He could catch the ball. He could run the ball. He's a good blocker and very smart player. So I'm going to lean towards him. Pacheco, though, is an aggressive runner, maybe a little faster than CMC, and, you can't discount him. And if Pacheco gets going, it's a problem because obviously they're going to have to pay respect to him, and then that opens up Mahomes to do his thing passing-wise. I know he doesn't have the weapons that he used to in years past. A lot of his guys, Scantling, obviously Tyreek Hill, no longer in the roster, but you still got Kelsey.
You still have weapons.
And, I'm going to go over the 262. I know the Niners, defense is very vaunted and very highly regarded, but 262 yards in the Super Bowl when, the quarterbacks essentially shine. I'm going to take the over on Mahomes on 200.
Mark says, what is the over-under? Sandy goes and says
the over-under in the game is I had it here is 47.5.
Yeah.
The over-under on Mahomes passing yards is 262.5. So I like both of those. I like it to go over the total, and I like Mahomes to throw more than those 260.
Sandy says, I just want to win a block pool.
Me too, Sandy.
Right?
I just want one of my squares to hit. That's all I care about at this
our
point.
friend Lisa's mom and family are huge 49ers fan. I think I didn't know that about Lisa. Up her house watching with them. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, they're in SoCal. So
they are.
Lisa and Charles, and so that makes sense. I will say I am not partial to either of these teams. Number one, they just played a couple years ago, and then COVID happened, right? So screw that. Then, you got the 49ers that are the team that beat the Dolphins in the last Super Bowl appearance. And the Chiefs, you don't want to see a team, especially in our conference, keep winning. And that's what they're doing. They beat us in the playoffs. On the flip side of that, it always is good to say, hey, we lost to the Super Bowl champs, right? So, and he would get closer to Brady, so I wouldn't mind that. But, not really indifferent to either team.
What I did share earlier in the show that Todd was actually intrigued by was, and Sandy, you'll appreciate this as well, Super Bowl winning teams usually go to Disney World, over here. This year, they're actually going to Disneyland. So, I think that's a cool little spin, but why would you come all the way here to go there when Disneyland is just the bomb diggity dong? So it makes sense. So may the best team win and enjoy an amazing trip to Disneyland because that's amazing.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people, drop in the chat your
score predictions. Before we get out of here,
Bowl.
Give us your score predictions.
Also, where you're going to be watching the game, interested. We're leaning towards just staying at home and ordering some. I want to order some Kansas City barbecue.
There's a place in Midtown that,
Yeah, so I'll probably order some barbecue. And you get whatever you like to get. Maybe something on the San Francisco side. Maybe a sourdough grilled cheese.
Yeah, so that's funny because when we went to Disneyland, they had that land of the San Francisco land with the bridge, and they had really
cool.
Yeah, so okay.
That's a California Adventure. That was cool. So we'll probably get some.
Sandy said she doesn't care about the score prediction. She just
she just wants to hit a square. Sandy just wants a square.
It's not the Dolphins. She just wants to hit a square. Disneyland is best. Yeah, no, that's go ahead.
So going back to Sandy on the square, you know what I do in my square, prediction. Sandy? I actually prediction. So Mark says the 49ers 27, the Chiefs 23. All right. I think Mark's also a little, upset that the Chiefs knocked out the Bills. So maybe he's rooting against the Bills for the Chiefs for those reasons. But we'll see.
No, I think he's pretty level-headed. I think that's an honest.
No. And he knows he's up there in the Bay Area.
Yeah. He's up there.
He knows. But yeah, no. Look, going back to the squares, Sandy. What I do with my squares is I label them. So if it's 10 across. So I actually label them by number, and I always pick Dolphin-themed squares. So I'll go with 13 for Dan Marino. I'll
72.
Go for 72, 73 for both Super Bowl champion years. Zach Thomas, I'll do 54, 99 for Jason Taylor. So that's the way I like to select my squares.
He said, you are incorrect again, Lou. He's choosing it.
Sorry, Mark.
He's choosing a level-headed. Mark's a level-headed guy. That's level-headed. But Sandy agrees with Mark. This is just a wild Saturday here. Yeah. Sandy is agreeing with Mark the Bills fan. Man, I never thought I'd see it coming. Anyways, guys, I love Super Bowl Sunday.
Another prediction there. Sorry.
My brother says emotions get the best out of Patrick and Travis. Chiefs 40.
Wow, he has a big lopsided.
What did you just say?
Big lopsided difference.
You did not say that.
I said a big lopsided difference.
You said a word before lopsided.
No, I don't know.
He says, emotions get the best of Patrick and Travis. Chiefs 24, 49ers 35. I can see it. Okay. I can see it.
Yeah, I can do it.
Sandy said, one time only. She'll agree with Mark. Just one time only. Mark, don't get excited. Just one time. It's just a prediction. No animosity. It's a prediction, not a guarantee. No, I know, Mark. I know what you meant. Trust me. But Sandy agrees with you. So take that for what it's worth because it'll never happen again, ever. Exactly. My prediction for the game. There's so much we could talk about the game, right? There's so much good sports going on this weekend too. Obviously, the Super Bowl is a highlight.
Cool event going on that I love down in Los Angeles is the Clash of the Coliseum, where their Dolphins obviously completed the undefeated season there.
We were there.
We saw a USC Stanford game out there, and so the Clash of the Coliseum is a big deal. They had all these monster NASCAR race cars going around in circles at the historic 100-year-old Coliseum, one of the premier venues in America.
And we have Heat Celtics tomorrow, yeah. St. John's versus number 9 Marquette today. A lot of good basketball, a lot of good football, a lot of good sporting events. Get the Daytona 500 next week. So my prediction for the Super Bowl, oh man, it's just crazy to think that we should have been, could have been, would have been, whatever. And shout out to Chris Barker, fan of the year. I hope you and Mama Barker are having a great time in Vegas. We haven't seen many pictures, so hopefully you guys are just living the dream out there, and I can't wait to hear about it and see the pictures. Congratulations,
fan of the year.
That's and congratulations to the Green Bay man who won fan of the year as a NFL fan of the year. The Green Bay guy. I reached out to him, and hopefully we can meet him this year in Lambeau. He does a lot for the community, and I would love to, maybe do something with him this year. So.
And a big shout out, and we'll talk about this more. But a big shout out to the class of 2024. That made the Hall of Fame, specifically two former Miami Hurricanes, Andre Johnson and Devin Hester, who actually Todd mentioned it was one of the biggest Super Bowl upsets for the sports books in Vegas when he ran the opening kickoff back for a touchdown against the Colts in the Super Bowl down here in Miami. And that was one of the biggest losses ever for the sports book. Nobody had that happening. So that was huge. But yeah, Devin Hester and Andre Johnson from the U.
And Richmond gets robbed out again.
And we'll talk about that. Look,
that's another
Richmond
show.
Webb and actually Mark and I.
Let's just say
hold on, really quick.
Get salty about it.
Mark and I had a exchange on Facebook about this. Bruce Smith, for my money, I know people are going to say Reggie White, but Bruce Smith, watching him every year in and out, I have so much disdain for him, but so much respect. I mean, Bruce Smith was the ultimate pass rusher of all time, in my opinion. I know people say Reggie White, the late great Reggie White, or LT, but Bruce Smith, for my money, was the best pass rusher ever. And Richmond Webb held his own every time they faced up and protected Dan Marino's blind side. He has the most Pro Bowls of any Miami Dolphin, including Dan Marino, 7 overall Pro Bowl selections. Richmond Webb's got to be in the Hall of Fame, and we're going to keep on fighting for that. He's got 3 years left of eligibility. We need to get Richmond Webb in the Hall of Fame.
So back to my predictions.
Yep. What do you got?
I know that Lisa's a very good friend of ours, and I don't really have connections to Chiefs Kingdom. So shout out to Lisa and our people out there. So I don't know, man. I don't have enough skin in the game to really be passionate about, so I'm going to say. So this is where I'm at, right?
All right, let me say mine. You think about it some more.
No, I know.
Okay, well, let's say it. Split it up.
Okay, because Kansas City treated us so good. We had such a great time, but I like Brock Purdy. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to come up with it out of the clear of my head. 49ers 30, Chiefs 20.
Okay.
Yeah. That just came from the head and heart.
That's your prediction. I'm on the other side of that. And I will say that, you mentioned Brock Purdy. For those of you who don't know, if you've been living under a rock, Brock Purdy's dad played for the University of Miami baseball team.
Oh, yeah.
And he grew up essentially down here in South Florida. Huge Dan Marino fan. And that is, in fact, why Brock Purdy wears the number 13 for Dan Marino, based on his dad brainwashing him into correctly, by the way, that Dan Marino is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Finsanity in the house. Give us your score prediction for the Super Bowl this weekend, my friend.
Yes, please do. But yeah, so that's a cool, aspect of it, that Marino was pretty much instilled in Brock Purdy's head from a young age as being the greatest quarterback. That's cool. So my prediction is this. Look, Todd said it. A lot of people are saying it. I know that the line is right now towards the 49ers. And while they may have the better team, the best player overall is Patrick Mahomes. He's incredible. I can't bet against him. I'm not saying I love it or I like it, but he is.
Okay, say that to my grandmother. She'll take you out of the will real quick.
He is the man. He is the GOAT right now since Brady retired, and it's hard to bet against him.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be able to move the ball downfield. He'll get Kelsey involved, and I think he's going to do his thing. And I got the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs. Not the KFC Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs. KC Chiefs winning 27-23 over the 49ers in a close game. I think it's going to be a good Super Bowl.
Finsanity in the house. Got to go with Vegas. 35. Got to go big in Vegas. 35-31 49ers. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's pretty much what we're saying.
High scoring. That's a shootout right there. That's a shootout.
Lewis, out of my will. You're out of Sandy's
Sorry,
will. So you're out of my grandma's will, Sandy's will. You're going to be broke. You're losing everything. So. Anyways, guys.
That's what I got. We'd be remiss. I know, look, people hate her, they love her, but we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about, especially coming off our engagement at a stadium. A lot of people are talking about this. Should the Chiefs win and Kelsey is on the field and Taylor comes to salute him just like she did last week or 2 weeks ago in Baltimore, what do you think? What do you guys in the room think? What do you think? I got to ask you first. Do you think that
same scores may lose different teams? This is what I feel about this.
Let me finish.
Because if they get engaged and be together,
go ahead. Do you think that Travis Kelce, should he win the Super Bowl on the field, embraced by Taylor Swift, will get down on one knee and propose to Taylor? What do you think?
No.
She will not. He will not.
I'm going to tell you why.
Guys in the room, what do you think? I'm thinking it may happen. I think, look, if nothing else, right now, the spotlight is on them.
You want to deal with my crazy grandma and her antics?
They are getting paid at an unbelievable clip. Behind closed doors, in closed doors, they are all time. They're trending everywhere. And you want to bring that up a notch, get engaged. Okay? So I believe that if the Chiefs win and they embrace on the field, I think Travis is going to have a ring ready to go.
Sandy,
what do you guys think?
Sandy, they will not get engaged. It will be a private engagement. Right?
There's nothing about them that are private.
No, but
there's nothing about them that are private, especially Taylor Swift. I think it's going to happen should the Chiefs win. They got to win, though.
It's Insanity. Another good point. That night is about the guys. She's not going to make it about them. Absolutely. No, you're 1,000% right. You guys are right. Lou's like in his bubble. Lou's all of a sudden this bubble Cupid engagement expert over here.
Valentine's Day is coming up, though. So,
guys, I actually do not have a Valentine this year yet. So if anybody needs a blonde,
well, maybe Travis Kelce.
Not my type. Not my type.
Not your type.
Not my type. There's nothing about him. No, I'm going to tell you why it's not going to happen, because Insanity made an excellent point. It's because Travis will not do that to the boys. Exactly. Number two, I would like to say that they've only been together 6 months. Some people don't make people wait 3.5 years, 3 years normally.
Okay, come on. People wait 10 years, 13 years. Come on.
So I don't think it's going to happen, but
all right.
I love football so much, and I appreciate the Super Bowl for what it is, the commercials, the camaraderie, the parties. Taylor does not need to be the center of attention in the Super Bowl, and I sure hope that it's not. I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl or to the halftime show. I love Usher. Usher is one of my dudes growing up. My boo is like my jam. I just really hope that the NFL, I know it's a moneymaker with Taylor, but I hope that they keep the authenticity and the Super Bowl for what it is and not make it about her. We know that there will be a presence about her, but just let it go.
Yeah, so. You mentioned, all the things that people love the Super Bowl for, right? The pageantry of it, the flyover, the national anthem, all the things involved in it. The commercials are a huge success. But at the end of the day, as you mentioned, it comes down to the game. You want it to be a good game. Hopefully the refs keep their flags in their pockets and only call things.
Or their socks.
only call things that need to be called. Don't take away from the game. Let the game play out. Hopefully it's a good one. We got multiple different results here, so I think everybody is predicting a close game. So hopefully that's the way it turns out. And I hope you guys all at home enjoy the game. Take it all in. Laugh at the commercials.
And just know that Dolphins will be there next year.
Enjoy halftime, and everything, all the pageantry of it. Enjoy it. And Super Bowl Sunday, right? It is a treasure of this country. Yeah. And I'm still going to push for, and we all should be doing it, Monday after the Super Bowl should be a holiday. It should be a holiday, and nobody should have to work the day after the Super Bowl. So let's make that happen. Whoever becomes president this November, make the Super Bowl.
Well, this show will never be about politics.
Make the day after the Super Bowl a holiday. Please get it done already. We all want it. We all need it.
My brother says, at least you'll have fun in New Orleans with the Super Bowl.
That's right. So
that's a joke because he knows I don't like New Orleans. I
well,
like New Orleans.
Hey, listen, New Orleans is New Orleans is next year's Super Bowl destination, and then we only have 2 other ones after that. I believe it goes to San Francisco.
Ashley, what's that one Usher song? There's always that one person.
Okay, nobody's paying to hear you sing. But yeah, no, the Super Bowls are going to be in New Orleans next year, followed by San Francisco and then Los Angeles. We yet don't have the one after that. We're hoping it's Miami, but we'll see. We'll have to wait and see.
All right, we got to go because we're doing a date night tonight.
We are.
Non-sport related. We'll report back on that. Just look at Lou's social media to keep updated of what we're doing. It's so I don't think we've ever really had a date night that has nothing to do with sports. So this is very interesting. I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm sure, Lou, now you have to post about it. So stay tuned.
I don't know. We'll see about that.
Stay tuned to what Lou and I are doing tonight that's non-sport related. So it's not bowling. It's not archery. It's nothing sport related. We're doing something off the grid tonight. So stay tuned. Yep. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday, Super Bowl Sunday.
Yep. Quick shout out one more time to Todd Dewey. Please follow him on Twitter. Get his information. Todd Dewey.
Awesome guy.
Search him up on Twitter. He has great stat nuggets on everything going on.
Patriots fan, but we don't hold that against them.
With regards to the Super Bowl and just the betting aspect in general. If you are betting the Super Bowl, I feel we have to say this: bet responsibly. The opinions on this show are of our own and our guests, but it's up to you to do what you want to do if you want to do it.
Do you want to know how much money I just put on the St. John's game tonight?
No, I don't. And don't be like my buddy Manny Cantor, who is hitting me up late at night for parlay bets, NBA teams, and then blaming me because they don't come through. Come on, Manny, you're better than that.
All I gotta say is St. John's better win today. That's all I gotta say. Unless date night will be very different. All right, guys.
But no, follow your heart, but also make sure your wallet's in check before you make these bets. But enjoy it, have fun with it.
Don't mess it up for me.
Enjoy it, have fun with it, and let's all enjoy the Super Bowl. And as you mentioned, hopefully the Dolphins are in there sooner than later.